Let's let's skip that one and let's go to 1808. Do you know what this depicts?
Wine spill.
Okay. All right. Now, you started to testify about, well, before we go there, in these pictures, would you say they accurately depict the damage that you saw that third morning?
No.
What else, how were they not accurately depicting?
Well, if you can believe it, this is a more damage, specifically broken glass. On the countertops, there was a lot of broken glass. I could feel it cutting my arms when I was trying to get up, and I could feel it underneath my feet. So I don't know when these pictures were taken, but there's been some cleanup.
Okay. Now, you indicated that that Johnny had turned on your iPhone and recorded. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did there come a time that you discovered a recording on your iPhone from Australia?
Yes, much later. There was this 5-hour-long recording, and naturally I didn't know what that could possibly be, because even though Johnny and I recorded each other often as part of our, struggles to figure out our relationship, this one was, 5 hours was unusual, and that's when I discovered that there had been this recording of the end of that Australia incident, if you will.
And did you listen to that recording?
I have heard it, yes.
And does it accurately represent what was depicted in that recording?
Yes.
Objection, form, lack of foundation.
You want to approach? I'm not sure. Ms. Berhoff, just could you tell me the number of that, the exhibit number, so I can...
378.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay. Number, you testified that you made arrangements to return home. Can you describe, let's take you to the point you left the Australia house to go to the airport and were accompanied by Ben King. Could you tell the jury what transpired during that period of time?
So I left Australia shortly after that. My understanding was Johnny was in the hospital for his finger, and Ben King was going to accompany. He was crying, he asked if it was, if he had killed it, meaning the relationship, it was, I don't remember the exact words that he used, but it was kind of asking me in that way, is it done? Is this over? Did we kill it? Did I kill it? That sort of thing. I don't remember what I was saying to him, but we hung up as I went into the airport. I had a mix of feelings. Nothing really was making perfect sense to me, for sure. And I flew back with Ben. I don't really remember speaking to Ben on the flight.
Okay. Do you, when Mr. Depp was, what you testified on what Mr. Depp said to you on the phone ride, were you on the phone with anyone else, or was it just Mr. Depp you were on the phone with?
I only remember speaking to Johnny, and I remember sitting in the backseat of the SUV that had driven me, and we were outside of the entrance where you walk into the airport, and I even then felt torn about leaving. I obviously didn't want to stay, but I was in such shock and
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
I don't know how that's non-responsive.
We're going to ask your question again.
Okay. Please tell us how you felt at that point and what Mr. Depp was saying to you.
I remember
Objection, Your Honor, asked and answered.
She was in the middle of responding to it, Your Honor, and Your Honor said
it was a different question, but I'll sustain that objection if you want to ask a question.
Okay. How did you feel at that time?
I felt destroyed. Like my heart was broken. I didn't know what to do. I thought maybe if I left him in Australia, I thought maybe something would happen to him. I thought he might die or kill himself, because that certainly seems like the trajectory he was on. He told me he had put a cigarette out on his face before, the Friday before, and combined with all the, when I was in the bedroom and he was in the hospital, I found, and I was packing my bags and stuff, I found all these empty bags, Coke bags, dime bags with white residue on them. In them. They were in books, in the bedside table. There were so many that I was like, I wondered how I didn't see it before, even though I had, just gotten there. So I was worried he would die, and I was worried that we couldn't come back from what happened. I was worried that there was just no way to turn this around. There was no going back, but shock. Shock.
So you flew out of that airport. Did you have a stop anywhere before you went back to LA?
Objection, relevance.
In a minute, I'll show
Overruled.
Yes, we did. We stopped in an airport. I think it was, we stopped at the Sydney airport from Brisbane, I believe.
And did you have to change gates there?
Yes, we had a short flight to get to Sydney, and then in Sydney, I walked with Ben through the airport to get the next plane, and we passed a newsstand, and I just remember I passed this newsstand, and there was a book on one of the book stands outside of the store, and it had this puzzle piece on it, and Johnny and I used to use that as a term of endearment, puzzle piece, And I saw this puzzle piece on the cover of the book. It got my attention. It said 4 ways to click, a relationship guide. So I bought it. And
Who was the author?
Dr. Amy Banks.
Okay. Go ahead, please continue.
So the book, at least from the subtitle, said it was a book on solving relationship problems. So I bought it and I read it on the way home.
And why did you buy it and read it on the way home?
Because I loved this man. I loved this man so much. And it was so toxic. And for some reason, I couldn't get him to not hurt me. I could. And it seemed like I was hurting him. But we loved each other so much. At least I loved him so much. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do with this relationship.
Something seems off about this. Something just seems off, y'all.
But it was so important to me, and I loved him so much.
I don't know what it is, but
I
something
would have read
seems
a million
off.
books.
So when you got back to L.A.,
It's on the tip of my nose, but
how
something
long
seems off.
before Mr. Depp came back?
A few days. Johnny came back within a few days. He went to his Sweetser house, the main house, which was what we did. You know, if there was a problem between Johnny and I, we weren't under the same roof once, you know, the fight had either paused or ended, depending. But he would go to Sweetser, and I would stay at the ECB. And so he went to Sweetser upon landing, and there was some conversations with the medical team, you know, doctors and stuff, and I just remember feeling concerned for his life because things had changed, and without saying what they said to me.
Girl,
Objection, Your Honor.
this
Hearsay.
lady
She said without
was
saying.
assaulted by a
characterizing it.
bottle.
I'll overrule for now.
I mean,
There
it
you go.
read like a Michael Bay film when she was going in it earlier.
I became really,
And
really
she
worried
should be
that,
in a coma and in a wheelchair, honey, the rest of her life.
Johnny was not going to live through this, that there would be infections or problems and things, and he wouldn't stop using Coke.
He
and
got MRSA
couldn't get
twice.
the surgery he needed because he wouldn't stop using Coke, and they wouldn't put him under because of all the Coke. So
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
All right, I'll sustain as to the
Foundation.
last part.
Okay.
All right, next question.
So when did you next when did you next see Mr. Depp after you got back from Australia?
I saw him a few days. I don't know how long it was, but it was at the doctor. I think my best recollection is it was in the doctor's office or around that he needed a procedure.
Did there come a time that you reconciled after Australia?
Yes, because it almost felt like it went away so quickly because there was this surgery that he needed, and there was maybe he had more than one surgery, but it was, you know, like it became very, very about getting Johnny through the next step. You know, getting Johnny home, getting Johnny off the Coke long enough to get the procedure done, and then after that procedure, getting another procedure done. And it was just these small steps, and before you know it, we were kind of back in it. With the prospect, of course, of him being done with all the drugs and drinking, because that's what necessarily had to happen for him to have this surgery. So that made me feel a little, you know, a little bit more secure and kind of coming back into this relationship with him.
Okay. So I'm going to take you to March 23, 2015. which is a few weeks after, 2.5 weeks roughly after Australia. Where was Johnny staying at this point?
I think he was staying at the Eastern Columbia, at the ECB. Yeah, he was staying at the ECB at the time because we were kind of in the bedroom together the night of the 22nd, which is when he passed out, how I found his iPad.
I'm sorry, when you...
I found his iPad open. He was texting someone with it open. He passed out, and I saw what he was texting.
Please tell the jury about that.
He was texting this woman that he had a relationship with on and off, kind of at the beginning of our relationship. So I recognized the name, but the date was right after the wedding. I saw it. He had gone to her house after we got married. Like, upon touching down in Los Angeles, I think it was the next day, he went to this woman's house that he has this sexual relationship with. And
What did you do as a result of seeing that on the iPad?
I freaked out. I immediately, confronted him about it. I was, I didn't care in that moment if he did kill me, which was likely in confronting him at that stage of our lives. I didn't even care anymore. At this moment, he had already ripped my heart out. It's like, I've just been through after having been through what I went through in Australia. Just weeks prior, I see this. It was like, unbelievably painful. Unbelievably painful.
So what did you do?
I'm yelling at him. So yelling. I was calling him all these ugly names. I was screaming at him. Told him to get the fuck out of the house. That's what I said. Excuse my language, but we were screaming at each other. At some point, we were upstairs in penthouse 3, and we kind of get into a how do you describe it? Pushing each other, And I just remember being so mad at him for cheating on me and doing so in this way, like right after the wedding. And then right after my wedding, go to see him, and then Australia happens, and it just felt like everything came crashing down, and I was so hurt. Anyway, I break out of his grasp at some point, and I go into my sister's room. The apartments in the ECB are connecting. At least 3 of them are, and they connect from upstairs only. So you could get from Johnny and I's apartment into the neighboring apartment where Whitney, my sister, was staying at the time. And then you could go from that apartment into penthouse 5. Again, still on the top floor. So I went through Johnny's office, which is how you access the door that gets you into Whitney, the neighboring apartment where Whitney was, my sister. And I went in there and woke her up crying, screaming, saying, "What am I going to do?
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Sorry.
All right, I'll sustain.
I don't know, that was Daubert to prove the truth of the matter.
I'll
Asserted
sustain.
In any event. All right.
Sustain the objection.
Okay, so you went to Whitney's. Don't tell the jury what you said to her, but what happened next?
Johnny comes into penthouse 4 and grabs me. I don't know why. I don't know what he was doing, but at one moment I'm aware that my sister's somewhere nearby, and I thought about that. I just remember thinking about that, and he, I remember getting kind of free from Johnny, and he left, or he walked out of the room.
When you say free from Johnny, what, if any, connection did you have, the physical connection before that?
Well, I mean, I'm, trying to stand up for myself, and Johnny would, at that stage in our relationship, he would just throw me, shove me, hit me in the face. I mean, it was just like, all I could do is just try to fight back, or try to not get more hurt than not doing anything would have certainly left me. I don't really recall specifics. I remember at one point he had his uncasted hand in my hair, and I was looking at the carpet. I don't know what happened immediately after that, but I remember he left. He was out of the room for a while. I don't know how we got into, I think I heard him in P5. Again, this is the neighboring apartment of that. So there's P4 in between. And
P5, what about Judy
the
too?
corner. And that apartment was empty, basically. And so I used it, the top bedrooms, the bedrooms on the top floor as my closet. And I had all these clothing racks and shoe racks and stuff like that in there. And then it had another level, the mezzanine, which is it hung over the rest of the bottom floor. And I used that as my office. And the bottom floor is, of course, the living room with just some sparsely decorated, just some big couches and a low table. And I I hear him in penthouse 5. And the lower level also is another painting studio, like painting area of mine. So I go in there because I hear him, and he's screaming, but I don't know why. I don't know who he's. My understanding was he was screaming at me, but I wasn't in that apartment. I could hear him, and when I heard him, I came into penthouse 5, and I have to go down the stairs, and I went down the stairs to the mezzanine level where my office was, and I could see him and a security guard and Debbie, the nurse, and he was sitting on the sofa when I first walked into the room, and he kind of stood up, he was drinking Red Bull and screaming at me, and Debbie came up the stairs because I'm screaming back at him. She came up the stairs, I think.
I did.
And while she came up, I'm supposed to kind of comfort me. And while I was up on the mezzanine floor, Whitney came down, and he threw the Red Bull can up at me, certainly, but it kind of either hit or narrowly missed Debbie. And I said I called him a pussy, and said something about, I'm screaming at him angrily. I at least called him a fucking pussy. I don't know what else I said, but I was screaming at him because he threw this can at me and everything else that had happened. And when I did that, he bolted up the stairs. And, there's only, he was up the first flight of stairs. Again, I'm on the mezzanine, which is in between 2 flights of stairs. He bolted up the steps, and I don't know how he managed to get his hands in my hair so fast, but he had his hand on the back of my head, my hair, and kind of was yanking me down and hit me in the face with this cast he had. I just remember this brief struggle we had before we kind of break away. Whitney, my sister, all of a sudden put
I wish
herself
Eternity was here.
in between.
She's a
Johnny and I.
potato.
She just threw herself like in the line of fire or whatever. She just all of a sudden was there and was trying to get Johnny to stop. Her back was to the staircase, and Johnny swings at her, and I just see my little sister with her back her back to the staircase, and Johnny swings at her, and I don't even wait for any other, I don't hesitate, I don't wait, I just, in my head.
These tears look fake as hell.
Kate Moss in the stairs.
These,
And I swung at him.
Kate Moss.
In all of my relationship to date with Johnny, I hadn't landed a blow. And I, for the first time, hit him. Like, actually hit him. Square in the face. He didn't push my sister down the stairs. And all my time of being in that relationship to that point, hadn't even landed one on Johnny. Sure, I had tried to fight back, threw my arms, flailed my arms, hit whenever I could to try to block blows myself, but never landed anything.
Oh, you liar.
And
You crushed his
Johnny
finger
kind of
off.
looked stunned and then laughed at me and then lunged at me again. And before I know it, security stepped in between us and pulled Johnny away. And I went upstairs
What's
with my
security
sister,
saying?
and we locked the door, and I could just hear all this commotion happening in Penthouse 5. I could hear him raging, destroying my things. I could hear it. And at some point I saw it the next day.
Tell the jury what you saw the next day.
All my clothing racks were toppled over, shoe racks toppled over, thrown down the stairs. Desk, everything on my desk wiped off. Just it looked like everything that he could touch, he tried to.
So he threw his
turn
own
over,
phone.
destroy, smash, But my clothing racks, these huge, heavy clothing racks full of clothes. There was at least one of them he threw down the stairs. The rest were toppled over.
Yeah, we know what really happened. You were ready to hit him, weren't you?
Amber, I'm going to fast forward to December 15, 2015.
She's ready to hit him
Were
now.
you and Mr. Depp together at that time?
Yes, we were.
Did you have a fight that night?
December 15th, yes, we did, but I don't recall. I don't recall what started the argument. We had periods leading up to that were really beautiful and really good, and then periods that weren't.
Well, let's talk about the December 15, 2015. What do you recall of
She's
your
putting
fight
makeup
that
on
night
now.
with Mr. Depp?
I remember him chasing me in the kitchen. I remember throwing
Girl,
something in his
you can
direction
tell that's makeup.
to slow down his
You
momentum.
can tell it's makeup.
I remember him screaming. I remember him getting on top of me at some point.
Oh, she's about to start
toppling me.
crying.
Mostly at that moment downstairs, he was hitting me in my face. Again, this is another example of when I wish so much I could tell you an exact sequence,
You can't?
but I
Why can't you?
It's
What about
flashes.
the photos? No photos?
So I'll tell you what I do remember.
No doctor,
I
no
remember
hospital?
at some point trying to flee upstairs. And we had, he got a hold of me and I got free, and I managed to get all the way up the stairs almost. I was on the last flight, and we'd had some interaction where I think I said something to him on the stairs. It might have been broken up, and I think I said something on the stairs, and I just remember how quickly he shot back up those stairs and grabbed me by the back of my hair, my head, and slammed his hand on my head. And I went down on the stairs, and he overtook me. I remember him so well. I remember his boots and the sound they made. I remember him grabbing my hair, my head, and kind of dragging me up the stairs the rest of the way. He dragged me into the room that those stairs open into. It's like a salon foyer area. And we had this argument that kind of, was a shoving match that I was losing. By the second or third shove, he sent me toppling over this chaise lounge, like a little low-lying sofa seat. And I hit my head on the brick wall. There was an exposed brick wall.
Yep.
I remember I stood up, and I remember.
Wouldn't you be in the hospital?
Johnny,
this girl should be in a this girl should be wheelchair bound, on life support.
Where he's like challenging me. He said it in that way, challenging me to stand up, get back.
Girl, there's no hospital reports to any of this.
Shove me back down. Oh, you really want to go, huh? Oh, you're so tough. I stood back up again. This time he hits me in the face.
Oh, she's lying.
And look him right in the eyes. And it was just a really still moment. I'll never forget it. Really still. I stood up and he said, "You want to go again, tough guy?" And I just looked right at him. Just looked right at his face. And he balled up his fists, leaned back, and headbutted me square in the nose. Just
okay.
Right as I stood in front
Why
of him.
is your nose not broken, honey? She's got a perfect nose.
A foot from him.
Why is your nose not broken?
Slammed me right in the nose. Instantly. Searing pain. It's one of the few memories I have in this long relationship that I actually remember.
She is getting so many things from different movies. She's pulled the bottle story from Gone Girl. Now she's still in the end plot device in the Black Widow movie.
I remember thinking,
we've got Gone Girl and Black Widow. And Mommy Dearest lines.
Think you have your hands free. You could have hit me with your hands. Why did you headbutt me?
Girl, ain't nobody falling for this, Pinocchios.
I told him that night I was going to leave him. I went through his office to go into the other room where I kept all my
Feels
stuff.
like it sometimes.
We had
3 computers, pricey. Well, more than that, really. About 5, but
I was
yeah.
trying to hit him off me. I was trying to get him to I was trying to get his body off of me, and he was just pummeling me. I don't know how else to describe what I was. I went down to the floor. I remember being on top of me, and he's screaming and swinging at me while I was on the floor. He had me by the hair and dragged me the rest of the way from the office into the neighboring room, the neighboring apartment. I remember the door that connected these two these two rooms had a metal grate, not a grate, but a metal bottom, metal floor that separated it. It's a big, heavy bank door. And I remember he was dragging me, and I removed my hands from my head and kind of tried to grab onto the metal door to prevent him from dragging me into the room. But I couldn't stop him. He dragged me all the way from that carpet. I was trying to get free of his grasp. I was trying to stop him from pulling me. I remember feeling the carpet and the metal.
You should have liked the video, girls.
He wrestles me, drags me up to the bed, throws me down onto the bed. It kind of wrestles me down onto the bed. And he kneels on my back with one leg. And I was trying to fight him off me because I was face down on the bed top. And he wrestled me down, kind of trying to hold me down with his knee on my back. And he's punching me with a closed fist, punching me repeatedly. And I don't remember even feeling the pain. I just remember the sound of Johnny's voice. He got next to my ear and he was screaming over and over and over again. Each time it sounded louder and more desperate. I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you. Over and over. Fucking hate you.
Okay.
And then pounding the back of my head, pounding it with his fist. And I don't even remember.
Take it off a little bit.
Pain. I just
In case she decides to create her own tears.
myself scream until I couldn't hear myself anymore. I could just hear him say that he was going to kill me. And that he sounded like an animal in pain when he was saying that he fucking hated me. He sounded like he was almost crying, or something in his voice was different. He sounded different, he sounded like he was in agony. It was high-pitched and loud. And I don't know how many times he just hit me over and over and over again. And I got really still.
Over and over and over again, 3 times?
Felt in my body quiet. And I thought, this is how I die.
Mega Man, that's not kind.
He's going to kill me now. And I'm not.
Oh, it is a monologue.
I won't even have realized it.
Okay, are you going to cry? No.
I couldn't breathe. I remember trying to scream and I couldn't scream. I was suffocating in this pillow top with him holding me down, punching me over and over. And I don't have any memory after that until I woke up.
When you woke up, was there anyone there?
Girl, Jazz, your acting coach should lose her job. Sherry, do we get paid as the jury? Come on, Amber, get that Oscar. You got this. You got this.
Hearing my best friend's voice, I felt like it came, felt like it was on a speakerphone, like it came from everywhere. I just heard her voice in a weird way. It felt like it was coming from 2 directions. And I realized that I was sitting on the edge of the bed, on the carpet of the floor against the broken frame of the bed. And there was a low-lying bed with a really thick wooden frame. And it was broken from his boot trying to get a purchase on it. And he was,
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
I could feel it.
Thank you. Please continue.
I was there for it. And while he was on top of me, I could feel that. I could feel him trying to get balance. I could feel him slipping. I could hear it. I don't know how I got off the bed. I don't know what happened to me. from the time I stopped hearing myself scream. I don't know what happened to me. It's a really weird feeling because next thing I remember is leaning against the broken part of the bed and on the carpet, and my friend saying, "Oh my God, oh my
Objection,
God."
Your Honor. Hearsay.
Sustained.
Okay. Go ahead. And without
And then
hearing what Rocky said.
I eventually, she called the nurse Erin. She got something out of the freezer for my face. She did a concussion check with Erin on the phone.
She's fine. Can we do a concussion check?
I thought I probably had a concussion, and certainly thought I had a broken nose. There was blood everywhere, blood all over those pillows. My head was bleeding from the ripped out hair, chunks of hair on the floor all over the place, actually. It was just all over the apartment. He
Thank you so much,
after
Arno.
leaving me, had written on the countertops in Sharpies.
Michelle, I'm going to ask you to bring up Defendant's Exhibit 510. Do you recognize this photograph?
Yes, I do.
And does it
my
accurately
God.
depict
It
the
was
scene
right now.
portrayed?
You know,
Yes,
it's
that's the next day, I think.
Your Honor, I'm going to move the admission of Defendant's Exhibit
Amber.
510.
No objection.
All right, 510 in evidence. You can publish
Amber,
it,
your
please.
nose.
Thank you. And could you describe to the jury what that is?
It was chunks of my hair that Johnny ripped out while dragging me and punching me.
Thank you. Michelle, could you bring up 513, please? Defendant's 513.
That looked like dog hair. That hair was way too coarse. What?
Is this
That was
picture
either
accurately
dog or
depicting
cat hair.
you?
No.
And the scene portrayed?
I think this is a couple days later, but yeah.
Okay.
Let
I'm
it
going
out,
to move the
honey.
admission of Defendant's 513.
No objection.
All right, 513 in evidence.
And could you tell the jury what this is and what it depicts?
This is my face with a busted lip, which it's difficult to see in this picture, but
Why didn't you take a better one?
two black eyes.
Honey, it ain't
one worse than the other.
1917, honey. We can take more than one
like I said, maybe
photo.
A day or two later. And
Girl, this looks like
my
makeup. Why is her nose not broken?
All right. Thank you.
This
Michelle,
is
can
the
you bring
day
up
later,
Defendant's
and
Exhibit 514.
I can't. This woman's insane. Does she? What? I had a lot of damage. I'm sorry, you can't
Is this
see it.
accurately portrayed
But you know,
as
we only had one photo left
depicted?
in the film.
yes, that's my face.
We only had
Sometime
one.
after.
We only
Your
had
Honor,
one
move the admission of Defendant's
photo left.
514.
No objection.
514
No
in evidence.
swelling. A day later, no swelling.
All right. If you could just briefly describe for the jury what this one is.
Oh,
That's my face.
my
some-
photo, my live
time
Photoshop
after.
looks better. My live Photoshop looks better. Live Photoshop? Live Photoshop?
Thank you. Michelle, if you could bring up Defendant's 515.
Uh-oh. I don't know what Marshall's saying.
Is this accurately portrayed?
Marshall said, this is so wild, they think this is helpful. Girl.
Going to move the admission of Exhibit 516.
No objection.
515 or 516?
516. I'm sorry if I misspoke.
You said 515
Oh.
before.
It's 515. 515.
No objection to 515? Okay.
No, Your Honor.
515 in evidence, you can publish.
And what does this depict, Amber? Could you tell the jury?
This is my face sometime after.
This just looks like makeup. I swear to God, it just looks, there's no swelling. It just looks like makeup.
Please.
Look at her now.
Does this accurately portray the scene depicted?
No cuts or marks, and there was broken glass, and he has rings on.
Amber?
Yes, it does. This
I'd
is maybe.
Wait, let me move it first. May I move
Sure.
the admission of Defendant's Exhibit 516,
No objection.
516 in evidence?
published to the jury, please?
This
Okay,
is
Amber,
dark
go ahead and explain
circles
what it is.
with no makeup.
I think this is maybe that night or the next night after Johnny left me on the bed.
So this is the night. This is the night or the next night. There's no redness or swelling. Girl, just admit it. Just say, I made this up. Johnny, please don't sue me for
Portray
50.
the scene depicted?
I admit that I was wrong. I lied so he can get his career back and just
Move
go
to
on with your
admit
business.
Defendant's 517, Your Honor.
No objection.
517 in evidence?
They don't have
Please
no
describe
objection.
for the jury what this
Cor-
portrays.
That blood looks like photoshopped on there.
That's my face after this incident.
What? Where's the scratch marks on her neck? She said he choked her against the wall. There's no hand marks or
He
redness on her
busted my lip
neck.
when he punched me. It's bleeding in this picture. It kept reopening. You know, it's a mouth. The lips move.
Go to 519.
She thought she was going to die that night, that he beat her up so bad. And this. What? Girl, I can make her look worse. There you go, honey. I'm helping you out. I'm helping you out, Amber. There you go, honey.
Is this accurately
Amber, take a screenshot of this and submit these. I'm going to help you out, honey.
the admission of 519?
Going to help you
No
out,
objection, Your
honey.
Honor.
519 in evidence?
Helping you out, honey. You don't have to pay me but $250,000.
This is my lip a few days later.
Let's go to Defendant's 520, please.
Few days later, nope. So no marks on the nose now. And what about the marks under the eyes? So now the marks under the eyes are gone because it was makeup, honey. All these photos have different stylings. She didn't put the makeup back under her eyes, y'all.
Defendant's 520.
She had the fake black eye she used to paint on there, and now it's gone a couple days later.
520 in evidence? Published?
Can you please tell the jury what's depicted here?
That's my scalp with a chunk of it missing
You
from when
you call that a chunk?
Johnny
Then why is there hair coming out?
it's dragging me by my hair.
Girl, you must weigh 1 pound if he's dragging you by your hair right there. This is fucking insane. Yes, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it because she's already cursed a few times. This is nuts. Girl, this is nuts. We are not validating this. No, ma'am. This is insane. This is like Trump level. You want us to see something that's not there. Every other picture, she has a different styling. 1 minute she had the makeup eyeshadow under her eye. Now that's gone the next day. So she went from having a black
Does this,
eye,
accurately portray the
2
scene
black eyes,
depicted?
1 black eye, no black eye.
Well, it's a few days later.
Okay. Move the admission of 522.
See, they're letting
No
her.
objection.
522 in evidence?
And what shows there?
My face is healing.
What?
Let's go to 523.
Girl, I would pay millions of dollars to look like that. What?
Does this accurately portray the scene depicted?
Yes, I think this is day or so after.
She looks like $1
maybe
million
longer.
with
Okay,
no makeup.
Yes, it does.
Move the admission of 523.
No objection.
520.
They don't have no objection because they're going to use this against her.
Draw your attention
Why
Amber,
is this
to
photo
an area
this
up
one?
Here, what if any?
There's
bruising
nothing
that you
there. Move your
sustained?
cursor.
Objection leading.
That was totally leading.
I'll sustain the objection.
That was totally leading. Erase that.
What if any bruising did you sustain?
I'm
Same
sorry.
objection.
Erase that. That's leading the witness.
Did you? What injuries did you have?
I had bruising on my temple, my chin.
You had to where?
My neck, the back of my head. I had swelling and pieces of, my scalp kind of ripped, torn.
What?
They were gross, pussy. But this is
Well,
from the
We don't see
bruising
no
on my temple
breast.
from one of the blows, several of the blows. I don't know.
Let's go to 524.
What?
Does this accurately portray the scene
Am I?
shown?
Yes.
Okay. Move the admission of 524.
No objection.
524 in evidence.
And what does this show?
It's, I had a pretty. Can I touch the screen?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, ma'am, you can.
Yes.
And I had a pretty gross bruise right there in my head, on my temple. It's difficult to see it in this light, but I remember it was.
Well,
pretty-
why didn't you take a better photo? It doesn't cost
Let's go
anything.
to
Even if it did, you could
defendant's
afford it.
509.
I'm going to help you out, Amber, if you'll just pay me. Let me help you out, hon. There you go. There you go, Amber. Take a screenshot and send it to him.
Does this accurately portray the scene depicted?
Yes, it does.
Your Honor, I move the admission of defendant's 509.
I'm helping her out.
No
I'm
objection.
helping my girl out. Come on, Mara.
Will you please tell the jury what this is?
That's the bed that Johnny broke.
That you mean some
Well,
cheap wood
on top of me.
paneling? That's it? You consider, girl, I've got a bunch of broken furniture when panelings came off.
11, please. Does this accurately portray the scene depicted?
Yes.
Move the admission of defendant's 511.
No objection.
All right, 511 in evidence.
I don't object to anything because this is insane. This is not helping her.
Just more destruction from a part of the fight that happened in the bedroom. Not the bedroom that I was
Girl, the
Just
way
talking
she
about-
made this fight sound was like
it was,
something out of
the
like
main
an
bedroom.
action film. This is
There
it.
had been a
Somebody
part of the
knocked
fight
over a
that happened in
lamp.
there too.
You could easily just wake up and accidentally knock it over. I've told y'all when I have I keep everything away from me because I have knocked everything off my dresser before.
Does this accurately portray the scene depicted?
Yes, that's downstairs in the main.
Wait, let me move the admission of it. Move the admission of.
Oh God, here we go. Oh my God, there's over 250,000 people watching this.
525.
Girl, YouTube is going to be broken.
And does this accurately depict the scene portrayed?
Yes.
Move the admission of 525, please.
No objection.
All right, 525 in evidence.
And please tell the jury what this is.
Yeah, he doesn't want to look up to her
This
because they
is,
can say he's intimidating
Johnny's
her.
graffitiing on our kitchen counter that he left up
Will be
on
a
his way out, I suppose.
Will be a find.
All right. And I think defendant's 526 is already into evidence. Could you just bring that up?
Yes, 526 is in evidence. Five.
All right. Now, Amber, as of December 15, 2015, what were your plans for Christmas that year?
Well, up to this point, the plan was to have our families join us. We would go with the kids and celebrate Christmas together, as a married couple.
Gypsy Rose,
And
yeah.
we would all go to Johnny's
Be sure to like the
Island,
video,
and
girl.
We'd invited my best friend at the time, Rocky, and her family, meaning her mom and her fiance, and my parents, and my sister, and we were all going to go to this island I've told you about that Johnny has in the Bahamas and spend it together.
Hold
And that
on,
was
let
the
me
plan
untime
leading
you.
up to this.
Don't use caps, apparently, y'all.
And what, if anything, changed as a result
Wait, how do I
this night of December 15,
time out
2015?
magnet?
After they saw my face, no one wanted to go to the island anymore with Johnny. They wanted me to leave him.
Hold on, magnet. I'm trying to figure out how to
You have to appear.
untime you
were
out.
Scheduled to appear on the James Corden show on December 16.
That's right. I was promoting The
How do you
Danish
do
Girl,
this?
the film I had done earlier in the year in London before going to see Johnny in Australia. So I was promoting that film that had been completed, and they asked me to make an appearance on a night show called The James Corden Show.
Apparently, you
After
can't.
this
Don't
happened,
use caps,
and
girls.
I did the first concussion check with Aaron on the phone. I got worried that I wouldn't be able to hide the
Concussion.
bruising and swelling. But I iced it all night, and the next day checked in the mirror to see if I could
Yeah,
get
because
away
they were
with
trying to
it.
say, how did she get beat up really bad and
hiding
then
it.
and go on
So I
James
made an
Corden?
appearance. And I gambled and thought maybe I could pull it off. I had my hair and makeup team come, and they worked around it, meaning worked around the lesions on my head with the hairspray, because that stings, and worked around
Oh, you liar.
the bruising by covering it with heavier makeup than normal bruise covering makeup. And I remember my lip was still bleeding and swollen, so we did this like really thick, super heavy, matte red lipstick. I remember very well at the time that we had no choice in color, and that was one of my favorite colors to wear.
Girl, I
And
can't
on
believe we're
this
going to have to
occasion, we had
wait
no
an
choice
entire
because nothing else
week
would hide.
before we get to see
My
her
busted
get
lip.
cross-examined.
And I went on the show, did what I always do. I told people I had an accident.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Oh, my God. I
The
can't.
truth of the matter, but
Sustain.
because you didn't have an accident. but-
Your Honor.
All right.
I'll sustain the objection.
Okay, please continue. So did you appear on the show?
I appeared on the show.
Okay. And did there come a time that you changed your mind and went to the Bahamas with Mr. Depp for Christmas?
Eventually.
2015.
Eventually I did.
Okay. And you went
Honey,
there
we can see
with
right through
whom?
you with your lies.
I went with Johnny's kids. I was you know, obviously I didn't see Johnny after this because he didn't face the damage he caused in my experience. He was never around for the cleanups. And so he wasn't around for a few days. And I eventually heard from him, and he said he wanted to talk.
No, we're not going to watch
And then
it,
he understood
Joanne.
that
We're watching Single White Female Part 2.
go back, you know, like almost as if he understood that I wouldn't forgive him. Made it easier somehow to talk to him. You know, I didn't feel so bad about myself in that case because, you know, how could I put up with this, right? But with the understanding that we were done, I could, you know, allow for us to have one last conversation, I suppose.
Magnet, I love you, honey, but you
I
need to
just-
clean your laptop screen, honey.
You know, it's like...
What the hell is on that screen?
I was heartbroken by the idea that I would spend my first Christmas as a married couple with his kids and everything on the island. I was heartbroken at the idea of missing that.
The sad part is that I don't know how to time out Magnet. There's
The best
no
I can describe it
option.
is it's like for every hit, every instance of violence, every time I was choked, every single one of these instances was like a heavy coin put into a piggy bank. And, you know, you think, okay, well, each single one of these is like...
A coin.
Objection, Your Honor. Non-responsive.
I think it's responsive, Your Honor.
The question was, with whom did you go?
If we could,
She's talking money now. Coins, money.
Tell us how you felt and what you were thinking in this process of whether to go. to have
Jessica
Christmas
Alba
with
is
Mr.
not
Depp and his
playing.
children.
You know, I guess I was trying to explain
Go ahead. Go ahead.
that, you know, just after you think each one of these is, it's almost like for each one of these things that happens, you lose the will or resolve to leave. You know, it's like every single heavy coin you put in this piggy bank is like an investment into the future you're going to get to, you know, and then before you know it, you're just carrying around this weighted ball. This piggy bank's too heavy, you can't leave. You know, for every single time I went back or allowed him back after this sort of thing would happen, I lost a piece of myself.
There's money coming out of her
my
mouth.
Self-confidence, my trust in myself to leave and move on. You know, I lost fortifications, I lost myself. And it was somehow easier to stay. I didn't want to stay in the violence or in this. I wanted to stay with Johnny, the good Johnny that I loved. So I
No poop camp.
put another one of those coins in the piggy bank of investment in hope and future, and I forgive him. It wasn't even that simple. I just decided to believe
He's
in
a
it would happen
sassy
again,
potato.
clean and sober. once again.
Yes.
This time was the last time because it couldn't be worse than this, right? It couldn't be worse. And
Hey,
part of
me,
thought, well,
honey.
maybe it just needed to get this bad to get, you know, like now we can't go back. There's no way this could happen again.
She's talking
So
to all
I
the
went to
roots,
the island
honey.
After a few days of
This is my
talking
favorite.
with Johnny, arguing with Johnny, talking with Johnny, negotiating that he's gonna be
Yes,
clean and sober, he wasn't
queen.
going to drink anymore. He wasn't going to use anymore. He'd never lay a hand on me again.
Uh-huh.
He'd rather die than do that, is what he was saying. And I was scared. My friends were scared, but I decided to go. After a few days of having the plane and the kids waiting, not knowing what was going on, they were at Sweetser, the main house, kind of just waiting to go on this Christmas vacation. And eventually, I got in the
Yes,
car
it
with
is
Johnny.
pricey.
And we picked his kids up and left for the island.
Yeah.
So let's go to the island for the Christmas holidays. And what, if any,
Mega Man. Live CNN coverage for a lion potato.
arguments did you have
Girl, she faded
with
for a
Mr. Depp
moment.
at the island over the Christmas holiday?
Towards the end of the trip, the trip itself was pretty nice, but towards the end, he started drinking again. Started with wine, and we were on the couch in the main house, a cabin. It's like a one-room kind of cabin. And we were sitting on the couch, and Johnny, what I perceived as nodding off, I don't still know what it was, but he was kind of passing out.
Oh my
or
God,
nodding
she's
off
still
or
doing this
something
thing
like
where
that.
she's not.
And I'm sensitive at this point to the clues that I can pick up on to know what pattern of behavior I'm dealing with, because they made a huge difference in my life. So if I knew what he was on and what he was doing,
I feel like we're talking to a
I could
bottle.
react accordingly. So I'm picking up clues. I'm sitting next to him, and he's nodding off. And every single time he kind of like nods off, he dumps this glass of wine on my lap. And I say every single time because it happened like 3 times. First time, whatever. Second time, I'm like, Johnny, are you all right? And I probably say it like a little weighted. And in my
Girl,
head, I'm
this
just
Nightbot don't
wondering,
play.
he's
I don't
on.
know
Does this
how to
mean he's on the Roxy's again?
turn
Is
it
this,
down a little
Is it nodding
bit.
off? What's going on? What am I going to deal with? He just had promised that it was clean and sober. We had this horrible thing happen in December. I thought we were moving forward. And the third time this happens, I jump up. I already changed my pants twice. And I jumped up and I shout at Johnny, like, what are you doing? Or, Johnny, you spilled on me again, something to that effect. And I get up, get up off the couch, and Johnny's son says,
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Your Honor, not offered to prove the truth of the matter. It explains what's coming.
Give you a good approach. I just don't know.
No. Oh my God.
Amber, please continue. Jack says,
are you okay or can I help? Something to that effect. And I pointedly say to Jack, but really to Johnny, like, thank you, Jack, to make a point of the fact that he hadn't offered to help me or even acknowledge that he'd been spilling wine. First, he's drinking wine. Second, he's spilling it all over me. And third, he's spilling it because he's nodding off, is what I assume. So I kind of say this in a pointed way at Jack, thanking him for offering. And I get up, go to the closet, take off the pants that have just been ruined, and Johnny comes into the closet right after me and slams me up against the side of the closet. And just with clarity, while holding my neck, he said he'd fucking kill me if I ever spoke to him like that in front of his kids again, if I ever embarrass him. And he just shoved me in embarrassed. I ever embarrass you, if you ever embarrass me again in front of my kids, I'll fucking kill you. And I don't recall who told Jack to leave, or I don't really recall having an awareness of where he was at this point, but I leave the closet, go into the bathroom, which is right next to it, and he comes barreling into the bathroom behind me. Before he does that, I said something snarky to him, don't fucking ever talk to me like that again.
So she's in the bathroom now?
Something in response, just something, so that I felt like I wasn't just being a punching bag. And I kind of like get over to the bathroom, but I didn't even have the door shut before he was in the bathroom with me. And I don't know if he used my body to shut the door or if he just shut it. But again, brings me up against the wall. But this time he just grabbed my vagina, like,
Jesus?
I was wearing this peach, kind of like netted kind of style swimming suit underneath. That's what I had on from the waist down, and he just grabbed me. Best I can explain it with his shoved his fingers.
This is a Trump thing.
Inside me, but through my bathing suit. He didn't like move my bathing suit out of the way, and just kind of held me there. And asked me if I was so fucking tough. If I thought I was so fucking tough. Said, "Oh, you tough like a man now? You some man now?" Just kind of taunting me while jerking me around. And he kind of seemed to do this thing where he was smiling, just like teasing me. Like, "Oh yeah, you think you're so fucking tough, now what? Now what?" I don't know what happened after that. I went back into the room, or he went into the room. I don't know who went into the main room first. I just remember his hand landing on the back of my shoulder neck area. I remember trying to get him off of me. I don't know. I don't know what the next thing that happened was, but I do remember I knew I needed to get away from him. At some point, I ran. I ran out of the back door, ran out onto the patio. At some point before I ran, he swung at me, but I don't even remember how much of an impact it made. But I remember running. I threw something in his direction when I was getting away from him. I ran down the deck, ran out into the kind of like parking lot area, his gravel parking lot area outside of the house. And that's my estimation of when Johnny reached me, grabbed me by the hair, swung me around. I remember he hit my face at least once, but I'm not quite sure in what sequence. Was it before I broke away or after? I don't remember. I just remember the lights of the ATV coming up. The island, two of the people who worked
Sounds
on
like
the
a
island,
Pixar movie.
Johnny, CJ, and Tara, they pulled up in the ATV. I remember the headlights. I remember separating from him, or them kind of running up and saying something and separating us. And I didn't see Johnny for the rest of the evening, is my recollection. I just found him the next day, passed out in the cafe that was close to
She
the
kind of
house.
sounds like the girl that plays Rogue and the newer X-Men.
Is that the end of?
Yeah, this is a good breaking point, yes.
All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you can just stay there for a moment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be breaking, again, this is the time that we break for a week, okay? So I won't be seeing you until May 16th. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how the remainder of the case will progress, okay? All right, so we promised to get you the case to you by Memorial Day. So in order to keep that promise, there's going to be a few things I need from you, okay? One thing is, starting on May 16th, we're going to start having court at 9 a.m. So we'll be going 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
My
Some days we might have to
God.
go to 5:30, so I want to let you know ahead of time so you can plan accordingly, okay? The
What?
other thing I need from you is Friday, May 27th, which is the Friday before Memorial Day, is going to be a court day. On that day, we're going to go ahead and have closing arguments, and the case is going to be.
I'm going to be getting up at like 3:30 a.m.,
okay?
honey.
So I wanted to let you know ahead of time so you can plan accordingly so we can get this taken care of for you, okay? All right, so those are the announcements I want to make for you and make sure you had time to schedule what you needed to do. Now, I also want to go over, as we always do on Thursdays, our responsibilities, the responsibilities you have as jurors, okay, in this case? All right, so you're not to read anything about this case. You're not to watch anything about this case. You're not to listen to anything about this case. This applies to television, newspapers, magazines, the internet, and any online sites. Further, you're not to read, watch, or listen to anything about this case on any social networking sites such as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, etc., or any similar sites. In addition, you must not communicate with anyone about the case, whether in person, over the phone, by email, text, or instant messaging, or by any other electronic or non-electronic means. This includes friends, family, co-workers, acquaintances, and strangers. I also instruct you that you cannot do any research or make any inquiries about this case, whether online or by any other means. What you learn about this case is limited to what you learn in the four walls of this courtroom when proceedings are underway, okay? So please enjoy your week off, get plenty of fresh air and rest, all right? And then I'll see you at 9 a.m. on Monday, May 16th.
Yeah,
okay?
week off from this.
Okay,
Now
thank
they're going back to work. Magna, this is standard this is the standard pitch when you're in a jury, honey. Girl, have you never took a civics case, honey? You'll perjure yourself as a jury, honey. You could get in
And,
trouble.
Again, ma'am, since you're still in the middle of your testimony, you can't discuss your testimony with anybody to include your attorneys, okay? You can step down, though, and have a seat with your attorneys. I have a few housekeeping matters I want to take care of before.
Yes. She's about to read them, honey. Yeah, this cop don't do nothing for me, honey. Girl, her 1940s outfit, it's just too much.
Attorneys, I won't see you tomorrow for Friday depositions because we finished all the depositions. I want to thank all of you for last Friday and staying here until I think it was 9 o'clock at night. But we got them all done, and I really appreciate all your work on that. It does mean a lot. And now you're rewarded because you don't have to see me tomorrow. So no more depositions. What I'd also, for planning purposes, though, since we're going to be going 9 to 5, the day is going to be a little different, so we'll start at 9. We'll probably break for our morning break between 10:30 and 10:45. We're going to break for lunch between 12:30 and 1:30, so I want you to plan accordingly for that. Our afternoon break will probably be between 3:15 to 3:30, maybe even a little later to 3:45. We'll see. And then we'll try to break at 5. There may be times when we might go to 5:30, as I told the jury. So I just want to make sure you know that. Since I won't see you tomorrow, I wanted to go ahead and give you your times as of this very minute of what you have used and what you have left, okay? Are you ready? Okay, Mr. Chu's going to try to use it with a highlighter. Let's wait.
That's
There
why
we
we're
go.
here.
There we go. That's right. That's okay. There we go. All right. So plaintiff has used 35 hours and 6 minutes. Defendants have used 36 hours and 31 minutes, which means the plaintiff has 26 hours and 9 minutes left, and the defendant has 24 hours and 44 minutes left, okay? And just to
Hello.
Wow.
Okay, I got you.
Oh, I don't
Okay,
think
thank you very
I don't
much.
think they realize that they're hot. Oh, please realize you're hot. Girl, please realize you're hot. Please realize you're hot. Please realize you're hot. Oh, they're at the White House. Oh, did something happen?
No, they're going that way.
Did something happen?
From you for this next week. If there's an emergency, I understand that, but just remember what my definition of an emergency is. Okay, we all remember that? All right, great. So other than that, does anybody have anything else for me? Hours and 44 minutes left, okay? And just a reminder, as we said from the very beginning, once time is up, once your time is up, your time is up. If it's in the middle of a witness, I'm gonna stop you, okay? So make sure, I mean, the 9 to 5 schedule, when we start back on May 16th, will give us a little buffer, but not much. So I will be keeping everyone on task for those last 2 weeks, so keep that in mind as well. Enjoy the next week. I don't anticipate I will hear from you for this next week. If
She's
there's
going
an
to be at a
emergency, I
conference.
understand that, but just remember what my definition of an emergency is. Okay, we all remember that? All right, great. So other than that, does anybody have anything else for me?
Yes, sir. It's just a math question. I'm thinking we have 25.44.
Sammy says 24.
She's trying to argue that they have more time.
If you add 36 hours and 31 minutes and 24 hours and 44 minutes, you get what?
What? 24 plus 25 is not 60.
Well, you can get with Sammy when we're done, okay?
She don't want to embarrass her.
Is it right or wrong? What's that? 61 hours and 15 minutes. Does that add up then? That is right. Mr. Ronenberg says I'm right. Okay, so that's the right time. Sammy did it 3 times over, so I thought that was right. You made him very nervous. Okay, so that's good. Everything else? Anything else? Yes,
Your
ma'am.
Honor, we do have our updated exhibit
Okay.
page that you requested.
Oh, perfect.
From
All right.
plaintiff. May
All
I
right.
approach?
That's fine. I think that's something Jamie needed. Okay. All right, we'll get that. All right, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
We're good? All right, we'll see you Monday, May 16th, 9 a.m., right? All right, thank you.
Girl, she's going to get on her jet, honey. She's going to like a gay cruise or something. She's going on a gay cruise. Y'all, what the hell? That lady was trying to say 24 plus 25 was 60 something. I'm like, wait, what? 25 plus 25 is 50, right? His assistant looks like Winona Ryder. That was so bizarre, y'all. That was bizarre. Bizarre. That was bizarre. The only thing I can compare it to, girl, she was rubbing on what's her name, wasn't she? What's her name? Melissa McCarthy. Oh my God, these fake hugs. Girl, they know that the lawyers know you're lying, honey. Honey, we all know her hair is savage right there, though. Look at her hair right there. Oh, Jesus. All I can say is, y'all, this was insane. This was honestly, she literally was trying to gaslight us with those photos. She really was trying to gaslight us with them photos, girl. Wasn't nothing wrong. Y'all, it's just, this has been a wild ride, honey. A wild ride. Lord have mercy. Well, girls, it was fun. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to cover it all live, but I had some stuff I had to get done that was very important. But I'm glad I was able to get back on here and finish it out with you girls. And we'll do it again in a couple weeks. In another week or so, 2 weeks away. We really will. Girl, she thought she ate it with those photos. Girl, when she was like, the pus and all that, I'm like, what? There was no pus. I still don't understand when she was saying that there was pus, honey. She killed me when she said the pus, though. Pus? When she tried to say how bad she looked, and I'm thinking, girl, I would pay $1 million to look like you with no makeup. With makeup. She's a beautiful woman. Tell me how bad she looked. I'm like, well, girl, I'd be getting beat up every night if I looked like that. Girl, there's be some people trying to get beat up to look good. Exactly. All right, girls, it was very fun. Thank y'all for coming back. Thank you again, Marshall, for the super chat, honey. Otto, thank you for the sub on Twitch. I really appreciate it. Bye, everybody.